This is a little bit of a departure from my City of Heroes videos, but a lot of people have asked how I get those images that are in my thumbnails and at the beginning of my videos, and it's all Midjourney. It's all, generated. I hate using the word AI for this. But yeah, so I thought that I would just go through the process of making one of these images in Midjourney. If you haven't used Midjourney or if you don't know anything about it, it runs through Discord. I believe they now have a web-based interface that you can use, but when I started using it, you had to use it through Discord. Speaking of Discord, I want to talk about that, but I'm going to put it at the end of the video because it really only pertains to people who are in the Best of the Worst channel in the game. So you can see here, these are some images of safe word. On the side panel, show user profile, there is a link to the documentation and also some helpful commands. There's a lot of stuff that you can do that I don't really use. Please don't ask me about it. I basically use just the basic stuff, but the documentation is really good. One of the interesting things I have found is just in the process of trying to get the image that I want, I'm just sort of inspired by something that the engine came up with. I kind of like this white mask that this one has. I'm kind of liking the hood that some of these others have. So, I might make her a new costume. The way that this works is that you type imagine and then tab, and that will just automatically put prompt there. And then you just start typing your description. I have found that just, for the sake of doing these images, I start out with comic cover art and then superheroine. I have found that works better than, for whatever reason, than supervillain. And then you just kind of describe your character. I frequently have to go into a distressing amount of detail about the shape of their body in order to get the algorithm to not put gigantic Power Girl boobs on my characters. A lot of times I'll have to throw in she has a small bust. Otherwise, it wants to make everything tits McGee. I'm putting in a black and green containment suit. I don't know what it thinks a containment suit is. I know what I think it is, but I'm just going to try it and see what happens. In the case of a character who's like wearing something over their entire head, you may have to really specify that it covers whatever it needs to cover. So I'm saying like her whole face, do some spelling corrections, and I think I'm just going to try that and see what it comes up with. On this first one, I'm going to let it run in the video just so you can get an idea of the speed. But for the rest of it, I'm going to cut all that out. So here's our first set. There's some interesting stuff. I'm kind of liking one, but I think that I'm just going to ask it to redo. I might have to specify like the camera angle or how she's standing. You just got to see what it tries to do and then sort of coerce it into the direction that you want it to go. So you hit this little like round arrow icon, and that basically is just tells it to try again. I think I'm going to make some adjustments to this. So I'm just going to copy and paste it. I can see that it really does not want to cover her whole head or her whole face. I think that I would like more of like a distant image, so it's not just like shoulders up. And actually, rather than that, It's better, I found, to use like a description of a camera shot. So I'm going to say medium shot. Well, that's getting a little further away. It is still struggling with the mask and not really loving anything here. Oh, I'm starting to see something. I'm kind of liking this a little. It's got kind of a sassy pose. So the way this works, so all these buttons down here, they correspond to the images. The images are 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so you have upscale 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm going to do upscale 4 to just give me a somewhat higher resolution of that image. And then I think I actually want variations of that. So I'm going to hit V4 for variations. There's some interesting stuff. I'm going to refresh that. And I'm also going to go back to this one and I'm going to choose very strong. And it's going to just give me variations of that image that are more strongly different. I don't know what's up with these hoses that it keeps putting in the image. You can see it wants to make her chesty. It has a favored direction to go, which is frustrating. I understand why it works that way. I don't like it. I think I'm gonna modify my description again. I'm gonna go with a wide shot to get a little further away. You gotta remember to put imagine prompt before it. I'm seeing something here, but I think I'm gonna have it try again. So we got some weirdness. That's not how gas masks work. So I'm just gonna refresh it. If I go too many times without it like getting at least a little bit closer, a lot of times I'll just go back to changing my description. This is getting somewhere. The hair is wrong, but that's fixable. I'm gonna do variations of image 1. Oh. We're not getting the pigtails anymore. But the general, like, look is kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know how I'm feeling about the action pose, to be honest. Like, it's okay. I don't hate it. And do variations of image 1 again. I kind of like that you can like see her eyes through the mask instead of just being like glowing. The Midjourney's like the artist that doesn't draw hands or feet very well and tries to keep them out of the frame. I'm gonna upscale 3. When you upscale an image, you get some other options, and one of them is vary region. And this is where you can go into the image and you can just drag like a box in the image. And you're basically telling Midjourney, hey, go back to this part of the image and make some changes. You don't have to change your description, but in this case, like I specifically want the double pigtails. So I'm gonna say, hey, look at this region. I want double pigtails here. And we'll see if it figures it out. It did not seem to understand what pigtails are. I don't know. I may need to just get a fresh start. It might just be the part in my description where I'm specifying that she's in an action pose. I don't know what's going on with that lady. The bare shoulders. She needs a skincare routine. There's something about 1 that I like. Oh wow. I'm loving her eyes. They're like doll eyes. So I'm gonna do variation subtle and variation strong. Just see what it does. So looks like we're kind of losing the eyes. She's getting a little chestier. But some things you just can't help. She's looking cute. This is really like calling to me. This might actually change how I see the character. Look at her. There's some weird stuff going on in her hair. I'll do variation subtle. I feel like the eyes are getting a little more intense. And I'm not sure that's the way that I want to go. I'm gonna try using Vary Region to fix this arm. Like, I didn't even change the description. I'm just saying, hey, redo this part of the image. Try something else. And sometimes that'll work. It looks like it might have. This is getting to be too cute. So I like this one. I want the eyes to be softer like that other image. I would like it to be a little more petite. This is virtually guaranteed to not work. I've tried this many times. I can already tell it's gonna do some weird shit. Yeah, weird shit. What if I just tell it to try this whole below the shoulders region? We'll see what it does. This is not looking promising. Oh, we have the beginnings of a boob window. That's expected. Maybe I care too much about boobs. I don't know. It's too aggressive. Too angry. Keep coming back to this girl. I think what I may do is grab this image and then just Photoshop the eyes of the other one onto her. I'm probably going to use Photoshop anyways to get rid of that stupid hose. Please don't ask me to do a Photoshop tutorial. I do not have it in me. There's so many online that you can find. In these days, with the tools that it has, it's super easy. Barely an inconvenience. So, on this one, the eyes are a little harsh, but I like the suit and the mask and the hair. They just have more texture. They've got like highlights, and I think it just looks better. And this one, like, the eyes are more of what I'm looking for, but the suit and the mask and the hair, they're kind of missing those highlights, and it looks kind of flat. So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna Photoshop. I think that's all that I'm really gonna change. And she's got weird like lines in her hair. The directions of her hair don't make any sense. But I can only wrestle with this for so long. I'm just gonna put in the final image. And guys, look at this precious girl. Her big doll eyes. Oh, guys. I love her. Guys, oh my gosh. She is too cute. She is such a sweetie. But yeah, that's the process. It's not glorious, but that's how you make the sausage. So, the other night, I was chatting with some of the people in the Best of the Worst channel, and it was brought up that like it would probably be helpful to have a Discord, for like sharing builds, for organizing, teams and task forces and stuff like that. Which I agree. I agree 100% with all of that. So I thought that I would, get like a channel going, and I did. There were only like a couple people who were active in the channel, so only a couple people joined. And well, I started having computer problems for one. That's neither here nor there. But those two people may have noticed that that channel no longer exists because I was panicking. A month ago, I had like 14 subscribers, most of whom I probably know personally. And when I started making videos again, putting in a little more effort, but I didn't think that it would sort of pop off. Not that I have, just tons of people, but it's certainly way more than I ever imagined. And I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed because I am not a community leader type of person. I just started feeling like, oh my gosh, people are going to expect me to like be in voice chat and answering questions and helping them with their builds and all this stuff. And I panicked. I was like ugly crying. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good look. I reached out to my cousin, a former streamer. She was doing like competitive gaming, and she's really good, and she was doing streaming, and she kind of got out of that scene. She was like, look, just focus on the thing that you want to do, which, for me, it's making the silly videos. I'm enjoying that. I'm having fun doing that. But I am a fiercely avoidant person and intensely private. Making the decision to even put voice on my videos was like nerve-wracking to me. I'm not saying that there can't be a Discord or something. I just don't know that I want that to be like another thing that I have to manage. Again, I am not a center of attention, leader of the party type of person. I'm the off tank. Not even the off tank. I'm like support for the support. So, yeah, my cousin was like, the thing is, as your channel grows, more people are going to be asking you to do things. And you have to put your attention towards the things that you want to do because there's not enough time in the day to do all the things that everyone wants you to do. And you'll burn yourself out. And I feel like she's absolutely right. And I also don't want to suggest that I am ignoring suggestions. I'm not. In the same day, one of our channel members was like, have you ever considered doing like a lore video about your characters? Which is not something that I thought of, but I really like that idea. Some of my characters do have backstories because I used to do some role-playing in City of Heroes. And actually I'm slowly dipping my toe back into the water, trying to get back in touch with my old villain group. I know some people like wanted like a super group. I don't want to start a super group. I belong to Entropy Legion on the Everlasting server. That's the only super group that I need. And it's a villain group, but who cares? And also, like, I don't regret the channel at all. A lot of people have joined. The majority of the names that I see in the channel are people who are sort of inactive, like I haven't heard them say anything, but that's okay. There's no rule that you have to be social. I am the last person who can ask that from anyone. But the people who have been active have just been an absolute delight, and I'm so glad that you decided to join the channel and chat with me. It has been just wonderful, and I adore all of you, except Arcana. I'm just kidding.